Good afternoon, everyone. Good evening, I should say, and welcome to the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series here at Daytona Road. My name is Daniel Handover, and joining me in the commentary booth this evening is the wonderful and fantastic Mr. Ed May. Ed, how are you doing this fine evening?
Very much, and I'm really looking forward to this. This is the pre-season event here for the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series. It's going to be excellent to watch, and we're here, of course, at the Daytona International Speedway Road Course, the circuit that's definitely going to provide us with excellent racing, home to the Daytona 24 Hours. And, well, you can see that GT3s can race so well around here, but what can the Radicals do, Dan?
Well, I mean, to be fair, this is going to be an interesting one, isn't it? Because we've had a couple of BOP changes as well. I believe there's actually more of an aero resistance. It takes a little bit longer, and the gap, you have to be a little bit closer to take the aero. So it's going to be an interesting one to really see, especially you've got that, a third of this circuit, to be fair, it is pretty much flat out. So it's something that is actually going to be quite a test for the drivers to make sure that they can time their overtakes to perfection, I think, going into turn one.
It's well more than a third of the circuit, isn't it? You spend so long, don't you, foot flat to the floor here at Daytona. Fuel usage isn't going to come into the equation too much, I would imagine. I think they'd probably be able to get to the end of a race on a full tank of fuel. So then it all comes down to the races itself. And we are into the qualifying phase of this race. Drivers out on circuit, trying to find the lap times here. Not seeing any action out on the circuit as of yet, though. I think it might be individual qualifying sessions, not a group session.
This is very true. Yeah, there's a 10-minute qualifying session, which we're going to jump onto in but a few moments' time. And yeah, all being well, we're going to be seeing some. So it's closed qualifying. Everyone's got 3 laps as well to set their qualifying time. So straight out of the bat, we're going to be going on to. This is Simon Edwards, a man that you can see on your screen now, going into qualifying here. So as he goes into turn 1, it's going to be. It's actually a very it's a weird combination to see these two, to see this combination that we've got here going through. I don't think it's one I've actually ever seen before. So it's going to be an interesting one, I think, for both of us, Ed. I'm sure we can both agree that neither of us have been here before with this car and track combination.
Oh, to be quite honest, I've not actually driven the Radical that much either on iRacing. I've only given it a few laps here when I was just cutting my teeth and getting started and figuring out what was what, and it's definitely a very vastly different car then to what it is now. Drivers may have had to, as you mentioned, adapt to a few different changes as well with this car. Had a few updates, if I remember, in the mid-season, well, not the mid-season, the end-of-season changes that iRacing like to do. So seeing who can adapt best, and Simon Edwards, well, he's even doing a very good job. Purple in the second sector, personal best in the first and third. Coming now onto this back straight. It's so crucial to get the good run here because you're flat out all the way through. Do have this little chicane to negotiate as well, which really separates some of the quick guys from some of the drivers that are less so. Look at that, really on the ragged edge there, balancing the car nicely through that, and then it's just a long run up to the start. And another thing as well is the fact that no drivers are going to be getting any form of slipstream. They're all in their own individual little qualifying session. 10 minutes or 3 laps, whichever you can do first. Seeing Simon Edwards, though, up to the line. Other drivers have been able to improve personal best, but Simon Edwards improves up into first place with the first flying lap of the session, a 1:41.3. So that's the benchmark for all the other drivers to try and chase down.
But so yes, a good time on the ball. We've just got a few people as well. This is where the times are starting to flood in as well. That's Dominic Leanne Webb, Paul Crabb currently second and third. Paul Clark has just gone in. Dan Webster though darts in with a P2. So this is where it's really already starting to kick off. There are the timings. There are the times on your screens now. So 1:41. That's 1:41.290, and there Dan Webster just around about 3/10 back, so not too much time. Very close though. That's Andy Hugill, who's just put in a lap time that's just under a 10th away from Dan Webster. I have a feeling, Ed, I don't know about you, but I have a feeling this is going to be a very, very close race.
I'm having a look, and John McHutchinson is hitting a very quick lap there on the number 69 car. So let's watch him through as he comes out of the chicane now. What can he manage? It's looking like a very good run here coming out of the chicane, hugging nice and close to the left-hand side there. Trying not to scrub any speed, trying to have the shortest possible line up to the start-finish. Simon Edwards, though, did go purple in the first sector, so keep your eyes open to provisional pole sitter. But John Hutchinson comes across the line now. He improves up into pole position by quite a margin as well, nearly half a second between himself and Simon Edwards. A 1 minute 40.87 to into the 1 minute 40s now. Are we going to see even quicker times though, Dan? It's certainly looking like it, because John Hutchinson, he could be under pressure here from Simon Edwards, who does dip in to the 1 minute 40s, but not quick enough.
No, it's not, is he? It's going to be close. 600ths of a second currently separate Hutchinson between Edwards. It's so close. Bit of a gap though back as well. Then there's a 4/10 of a gap between Edwards and Crab. So it's a little bit of a gap. Then it extends a bit, and there's a couple of people as well within a tenth, within a couple of thousand. I've just actually looked, and Andy Hugill, he's only 100th away from Dan Webster. He's just about to go across the line for his second lap. He does improve up into P4, so a very respectable lap from him there. So that's put him up the order, and I'm sure he will be pleased with that. Bear in mind, each member has got 3 laps that they can drive. They've got 3 opportunities to try and put their time in. And you think every single time your tyres are warmer, the track is a little more rubbered in, you've got a little bit less fuel on board as well. So realistically, the last lap should be the fastest.
Yeah, and I'm having a look now. Very scary time possibly being set by John McHutchison. Purple first, second and third sector. Didn't have any improvements there in the fourth sector, as that potentially hampered his run out of the final corner. We shall soon see as John McHutchison makes his way up to the line now. And I don't think he's going to improve. Oh, he does improve, actually. Put the words wrong in my mouth and got the right ones. That he's now up into pole position, or still in pole position by now. A margin of 3/10 exactly. What can Simon Edwards manage in response, though? Well, last lap wasn't an improvement at 1 minute 41.1. Not good enough from Simon Edwards, and that's qualifying done for him. He's pulled off into the pit lane. Other drivers still out on the circuit, though. We've got Simon Maltby. What can he manage here, Dan?
Well, we're going to see. He's just coming down into the start. I'm just trying to think. This may very well be his last lap. We're going to see he comes across the line. Does he improve? Dan Webster's just improved as well. So Simon Maltby does improve indeed. He's gone up now into P9. So he's in with it. He's within the top 10. And I think that could be his last lap, although he seems to be going for another flyer, so he could have another one in the bag. A couple of people, though, we're seeing some lap time. I've actually seen a couple of times not being set at the moment, so we may see some late bloomers as lap times come across the board. But yeah, just coming up to 2 minutes left of qualifying, and then we go into the race. So yeah, a few people still out on track. Phil Glover is one of them. He's just going to come across the line. What's his time? He does improve only by 3/10. He doesn't improve. Actually, it's quite a sizable margin, but doesn't unfortunately make any more positions. So he stays in P13. Dave Kirkman as well. He is just going through down the main straight. Is he going to be 80? He's set a couple of personal bests, but no session bests. So as he comes across the line, is he going to make some more time? Yes, he does. So he goes into P13. So again, these late times coming through there, Ed, and it seems to be in favour for a lot of people.
John McHutchison on his final qualifying lap almost made an improvement there. 1 minute 40.65. But his best time was 1 minute 40.63. So only a few hundredths of a second there, separating his best 2 times, which shows great consistency. And that might give Simon Edwards, if he wasn't already a little bit concerned about the pace of our pole sitter, well, that's definitely going to be a concern, because not only is he quick over 1 lap, but he can do it time and time again. He's got that consistency, Dan. That's something that's going to be worrying many drivers.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Yep, the consistency is key. It's always the way. Consistency is key. And like I said, yeah, if you can do the laps time and time again, it's amazing how quickly it sets it. It's amazing how quickly you can gain that rhythm. And also the confidence as well. That's the key thing as well. It's just having the confidence to be able to push the car that little bit more, to eke out just that little bit more out of the car. So, yes, overall, consistency.
How much fuel do we need, guys, please? Oh, sorry, I can see.
I've just seen, we've just got the, bear with us 2 moments as we just adjust our sound settings. I do apologise, but Ed, I mean, you've not driven much of these cars. What's the main thing, I suppose, of the limited amount of thing that you have driven with these cars? Would you say?
You really have to use every bit of downforce you can get. The car is, at least from my experience, balanced on a knife edge, and you really need to be able to extrude every last amount of performance that you can, and just trust the car and trust your ability more than anything else. That's the real key here. And as the drivers now make their way up to the line for the grid, we can run you through the starting order for this, the preseason event. John McHutchinson takes pole position here, 3/10 clear of Simon Edwards, who lines up alongside him on the front row. Martin Booker is third, with Dan Webster behind in fourth, with Paul Crabb, Andy Hugill, Ray Peasley, Dominic Langveg, and Paul Clark and Graham Brown, rounding out your top 10. Then we have in 11th place Simon Maltby and Jamie Bird, with 11th down, or 13th down rather, seeing Dave Dawson, Dave Kirkman, 2 Daves there, lining up alongside each other. Phil Glover, Tim Addock, Martin Ward, James Child, Chris Cant, and Andrew Stringer, rounding out the field. Not Chris Cant, that's Chris Kane. I'm sorry, my font's looking a bit funky and weird there, so it's difficult to see it all, but here we go. We're going to be getting underway very shortly for this, the first event, pre-season event, but the first event of the season.
We are absolutely. So this is going to be an interesting one. All the carts. A rolling start we're going for today, which actually, to be fair, might not be a bad thing. Always a standing start on a banked circuit is interesting, to say the least. I think that's probably the best way to put it. I'm sure you would agree there, Ed. It's one of those ones where you've always got to be just a little bit cautious that if you do have a bit too much on throttle, if you have a bit too much on, if you let the clutch out too quickly, something or other, then the car generally just doesn't tend to respond very well, and you end up going one way or the other. But yes, John McHutchinson taking the the top step after qualifying. A very, very respectful time indeed, but it is close. And this is the thing, if everyone can hear, if they can stay within that second of a window, then that's really going to help throughout the race, because they'll just be able to sit there and sit within the toe. That's the key thing. That's one of the main things that you need, is to be able to sit within the toe and keep that momentum up. But here we go then. Everyone is now on their very, very short formation lap, and I am very excited for this. This is going to be a very, very good testament to the start of the season. As we see John McHutchinson, he's actually letting the car go. He's letting the pace car go quite far ahead of him. So what you'll probably find is, as the pace car were to turn off, there'll be a small pause, and then you'll see John, he'll be then controlling the pace. That's the key thing. And then this man here, Simon Edwards, he is going to be the person he's going to have to be quick off the marks if he wants to have any potential chance to make a move on John McHutchinson going into turn 1. Let's not forget as well, though, Ed, Dan Webster, he's on the inside going through into, actually, apologies, he's not. We have this man here, Martin Booker. He's on the inside going into turn 1. So if Simon Edwards gets hung out to dry, could be an interesting one there.
Yeah, so you really don't want to be on the outside going into turn 1 at this circuit. If there's any contact on the inside, well, you're going to be really helpless to try and avoid it all. But the pace car comes in now. John McHutchinson, he can set the pace. He can go when he wants to. When is he going to stamp on the loud pedal? He goes now. So the preseason event is underway. The green flag is waved, and John McHutchinson gets the jump on the rest of the field into the first corner. Meanwhile, further back, they're trying to go 2, maybe 3 wide. Please don't try and crash already, lads. Make sure you can get through turn 1 nice and safely. And as I say that, well, there's a couple of spinners in the background, but on the whole, maybe we've gotten through that relatively unscathed, at least unscathed in terms of Daytona.
Well, absolutely. To be fair, a relatively clean start as well. We see Dan Webster. He's dropped down a couple of positions. He had a bit of a moment there as well. You just saw on the exit, tyres are cold. Everything's cold there. They've got to wait for the tyres, the brakes, everything to warm up because at this moment in time, you've got to take it nice and easy. I thought that was going to be a move potentially for Andy McGill going through. That was Dominic Langweb. He's actually gone up the inside. I'm not too sure what's happened to Andy McGill. He's gone wide. So Andy's dropped a couple of positions. Dominic Langweb didn't think for a moment there. Just sent it up the inside and off he goes. So he's capitalised on that position. Meanwhile, though, John Hutchinson, he is just checked out from Simon Edwards, who's actually checked out of Martin Booker. But now this is where they come onto the back straight now. This is where it all starts to take over now. You see everything now. Dan Webster's going to get a really, really good run. He's a little bit closer to Booker than Booker is to Edwards. So this is now where we're going to see some of these positions start to be made up as they go through into the chicane for the first time. It's a little bit further. It's close down the field as well. We're going to be having a look at some of these. Very, very good. Look
slow
at
down
Webster.
for a race leader. Sorry to jump in there. Slow down for our race leader. All of a sudden, John McHutchinson, he must have made a mistake somewhere through the chicane, and he's dropped back out of first into fourth and potentially fifth, because on the opening couple of laps, it is very harsh on you with the slowdown, and you do have to hemorrhage a lot of time. Meanwhile, though, there was a great run here from Dan Webster coming out the chicane. He's going to try and capitalise it now. Up into second place. Can he go? They're so close, aren't they, under the brakes? Nail-biting stuff around the outside. He's going to go for it, and is he going to get it to stick? No, he's not, because they're still going to fight back. Down the inside, the Dan Webster is going to have to send it here into the International Horseshoe. He does, and I think, is he going to finally take the position? Yes, but he really had to fight with it. Great defence, valiant effort from Martin Booker, but it's so difficult to defend when you're stuck around the outside of that corner.
Absolutely, what a cracking move there. We've got a couple of replays that we're going to look at the moment. I was interested to see if John Hutchinson, he looked like he was going to try and make a move on Booker as well, going into turn 4 and turn 5, but does decide against it. He decided against it, though. Wants to make the position a little bit later. Again, you've got all of this time here. Simon Edwards is now the person that's going to be at potential one of the next people on Dan Webster's radar. But yeah, that's a very, very good move from Webster indeed, and that was a very calculated move that took a long time, took 3 or 4 corners, but you made it stick. Very, very good stuff. Well, we've got a bit of time here, though. Let's have a look at the start. Let's have a look at a replay here just to see what actually happened. We have Paul Clark. So let's just have a quick look at this. So as we go through into turn 1 again, whether it was just a small little bit of moving potential on the brakes, or everyone's just checking up to see the concertina. He gets tapped. Ooh. And I'm guessing he gets tapped by Graham Brown. Goes on the inside. Let's have a quick look from his perspective. I believe he does. Let's just have a look from the on-board. So what happens? No, he doesn't. No, Graham Brown gets... I'm not too sure who that was, actually, but Graham Brown, unfortunately,
Well, yeah, what happened there with Graham Brown was exactly what we were talking about at the start of the race, wasn't it? Being around the outside into the first corner on the first lap. You're just a bystander. You can get collected easily. By the instance, Tim Adcock, while trying to come back onto the circuit, spins up the wheels and collides in with the wall. Meanwhile, look at this, battling up in front. We come to live pictures here, and we can see Dan Webster still in second place, but closing in, and there's a mistake there from our leader, Simon Edwards, now into the International Horseshoe. Loses out potentially. He's got Dan Webster now in front, but into the kink. You don't want to go too wide. Dan Webster is going to do it if he can, and he's going to hold on. Great stuff. Respectful driving between the pair of them, and Dan Webster from 4th place in the end of the first lap is suddenly now, or at the start of the race, is now finding himself in the lead. Great drive in these opening 4 minutes from Dan Webster. But we can see John McHutchinson is closing up the gap. He's going to be in the mix very shortly.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very, very close. But yeah, Dan Webster, man on a mission at the moment. He is going to lose out, though, because Simon Edwards, look at that. Look at the run that he's got. Again, when you've got no one in front of you, you don't have any toe. That's the annoying thing. It's great being out in front, but this is where you now start to lose out. And I think Simon Edwards has already got him. No, it's going to go side by side going into the chicane. Oh, my goodness. How close do you want it? Dan Webster, it doesn't matter how he does not want to give this position up. That was so close. Fair play to, again, both of these guys. But as he now got to slow down, he's taken to the outside. I wonder if he has. He taps the wall. I wonder if he's got to slow down as well. Look how much time he's dropping. Do you know what? Well, not the first person we've seen. Yeah, not the last. Look at that. He's having to slow down and concede so much time going through. He's going to now let Martin Booker back in. The positions that he's fought so hard to gain, he's now lost the ball again.
The most damaging part of that, though, wasn't the slowdown, the positions he's lost. It's the fact that he's got damage and he's going to have to carry that till the end of the race. There is a fast repair And if the drivers do take a pit stop, they are able to get their cars fully repaired and back in action instantly. It's basically just like magic that the cars can get fixed just like that. However, Dan Webster, that's definitely not going to be what he was hoping for. After such a promising start to the race, he found himself with a lot of work to do, that's for certain. Meanwhile, we're seeing Dave Dalton in the mix, isn't he? He's got Dave Kirkman up in front and Paul Clark behind. Battle of the Daves, and it is Kirkman ahead of Dalton for the time being, but as they come onto this back stretch, onto the start of the banking, I think we're going to see Dave Dalton. He's going to get a good run coming out of the corner. Meanwhile, further in front, there's still action going on. Ray Peasley now up into 7th place. Dan Webster, though, falling back down the order like a stone.
Yeah, not good for Dan Webster. That damage could very well be hurting it. But there, let's jump back now to Paul Clark. This is Paul Clark versus Dave Dalton. They're going to go side by side, potentially going through. They've got Kirkman not too far ahead. They're going to go side by side. They need to work together at this point. Oh, a small spin there. Half spin, managed to control it just about, although he manages to get off the racing line very well, very well avoided there as they go through. But yeah, Paul Clark unfortunately just caught some marbles, caught a little bit of the track that wasn't as rubbered in, and then just got on the dirty stuff, and it sent him round. But he manages to keep going again, but that was a good battle up until that point. Meanwhile, we've got now, this is Ray Peasley and Andy Hugill that are now having a bit of a tussle going into turn 1. Is it going to be a cutback for Ray Peasley? That is going to be a move and a half if it sticks, but unfortunately, it does not. So, Peasley still behind Hugill for the moment, but I thought that's a very, very big send. I thought that was going to be a big send. It's actually just a bit too late on the brakes for Peasley. You can obviously hear us talking. Apologies for the commentator's curse there, Ray Peasley. But, yeah, I mean, again, it just looked like a little bit, whoa, big moment there. And as well, who was that? That was Dave Kirkman. And now that wasn't Dave Kirkman, that I believe was, no, there's action everywhere. There's action absolutely everywhere. Look at Dan Webster, though. He's dropped right down the field now. He's now in P14. So I wonder if he's got steering damage potentially.
No, what happened, we missed it while there was that fight going on, but I was going to pick up on it. Dan Webster actually came into the pits to get that fast repair taken. He realised it was causing him so much speed loss. He had rear wing damage, but you can't see that in the car unless you've got VR and you're going to crane your neck back to look at the rear wing behind you and assess the damages. You won't be able to know until you obviously see the lack of downforce and the lack of speed on the straight. So Dan Webster made the executive decision there to come into the pits, get that damage repaired, and now he's out back on the circuit. We're going to follow his fight back up through the field. He was 4th into 1st, back into 8th, and then he's now sitting in 13th place, but with a lot of time still left to go in the race, over half an hour for Dan Webster to try and make up some positions. And just on board, you can see how committed you have to be going through the bus stop there. Meanwhile, change of position up in the lead. John McHutchinson, pole sitter, takes back first position here against Simon Edwards, but Simon Edwards fights him all the way through the first corner, gets back up into the lead. Great stuff here between the pair of them. John McHutchinson sends it into the International Horseshoe, and he's going to get a great exit. Brilliant move if he can get it to stick, but then he's going to be held around the outside through the kink. He's going to have his car behind. He's going to have to send it into the next hairpin. This is a bit of a longer one, so you can make it work. Sends it very deep. Seems to get the exit, though. Forces Simon Edwards offline. Great move there by John McHutchinson. Although, is he going to be able to stay in front? The slipstream we know is strong around Daytona. Simon Edwards is going to be in a great spot to make a move. As though, could Martin Booker. He can get the draft off of both of them in front. An outside shot to try and take a position here. What the drivers don't want to do, though, all three of them, is get involved in these fights and squabbles so early on in the race. Well, I say that, Simon Edwards, he looks for it around the outside into the bus stop.
Exactly, look at that. They're going to go side by side again. Simon Edwards, he wants the move, but again, probably not the best place for it, but he gives it a go. Anyway, very, again, good, respectable driving. I'm liking this so far, the respectable driving from everyone. But looking at it as well, though, Paul Crabb is now having a bit of a look. He wants the move now on Martin Booker. So there's two battles going on here that we can see. Yeah, not too sure. Apologies for these small little internet issues that we are having. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but hopefully they will be resolved in a few moments. But Paul Crabb, he's going to go to through to the outside. Look at that 2x2 Noah's Ark style as they go into turn 1. Paul Crabb does indeed back out of that move around the outside. He might try and cut back. All concertina's up though. Mitch Hutchinson, he's now back in the lead with Simon Edwards P2, Booker 3 and Crabb in P4. They're both, I tell you what, who's actually getting front row seats as well. Look at Dominic Liang Webb. He's not too far back though, as we see. Who was that? That was Simon Edwards again, losing out on a position. So another just a little bit too deep into the corner. That has cost him a little bit of time, but he hasn't lost out too much. We know he's got the pace. I'm sure we're going to see a move come back in a few moments' time. There is action absolutely everywhere. But yeah, like I said, the person that's got front row seats in the moment, look at that, is Dominic Liang Webb. He's just letting all of this happen. He's sitting back. He is, again, we've seen him in pre-season tests, and we've seen him, he has got a bit of pace. As I said, it just goes a little bit too wide. The rear locks up a little bit, gets sent round. There's a bit of rotation on that rear there, but he's got front row seats.
He does, and from this onboard we can see, is that potentially, I'm not sure if we can get closer, we can see maybe damage on the rear end of Paul Crabb's car. We'll see it, or maybe as they come through the bus stop with all the cars getting close together in the slipstream. Is it that left-hand rear side? Looks a little bit out of shape. We'll have a look as they come through now, if Dominic Liang Webb can close in. Maybe it's all right, actually. I don't know, can you see anything from your angle here, Dan?
It's a bit of a tricky one. Let's have a quick look just to see if we can see something. So Paul Crabb, let's just have a quick look. So as we go into your left rear, doesn't look like there's all too much damage, to be fair, looking at it. But yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. I mean, from the TV cameras, doesn't look like there's too much damage, if any.
Looks like there's damage on the, like, right in the middle of the rear, potentially.
Oh, right in the... Oh, I see. Right, we'll have to see. Unfortunately, yeah, nothing that I can majorly see from my camera angle. So maybe when we get a position, possibly if Dominic Liang Webb gets a bit closer, or if there's battling ahead, we'll be able to change the camera angle that we could possibly see. Oh, there could be. You're right. There might be a little bit of structural damage to the rear where the sort of... Yeah, as you say, in the middle where the rain light will be. Absolutely. But we'll have to keep an eye on that. Paul Crabb is not losing out too much time, though. It doesn't seem to be phasing him all too much. He actually pulled away from Liang Webb a little bit, and he's also caught up to Simon Edwards. So if he has got damage, it's not really hurting him in terms of pace.
Yes, and I can see Daryl Taylor in the YouTube chat asking if there's no trading paints installed. Well, because iRacing has had its recent update, it does sometimes throw a little bit of a wobbly with the servers and making sure everything's refreshed. That's as well why we had some issues with cars blinking in and out that you noticed, and I think I was noticing as well, but I thought it might have been my internet. But if you've seen it as well, it's most likely an issue on iRacing side.
Indeed, I'm just going away just to try and briefly for a few minutes refresh everyone's paint. Yeah, just to see if trading paint is working. So apologies if it's not. I think this looks to be maybe a little bit more promising. So let's come back here to what we can see now. This looks to be a little more promising. Ed, I think Trading Paints has now decided that it wants to function, and now we have everyone back up with their respective paints. There we go. That looks a bit more like it. So again, apologies for those small little hiccups there, but as Ed said, we have a couple of little issues, especially when iRacing does a big update. There can be something. It just takes a little bit of time to refresh everything as we go. So it looks to be all fine now. But yes, look at that. Hutchinson, he is pulled out a bit of a lead, interestingly enough. This is one of the things I'm noticing as well. Yeah, he's pulled out a bit of a lead.
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing I've noticed, though, is that one driver has disconnected, actually, because of packet loss. I think it was Ray Paisley. He's now come back in. That's why he was out of the race. Seems to be issues potentially with iRacing servers, but we're going to persevere forwards regardless. It's just a shame, isn't it, that some drivers have not had the great start to the season. The only saving grace is the fact that it doesn't count for any points for the championship.
Yeah, I know, exactly. Well, this is actually a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity to test. It's a good opportunity to get your foot in the door to see where your competition is for the upcoming season, which starts next week. So if you want to get involved, make sure you do let us know you can get involved via the Discord, the UK and Ireland Discord as well. So do make sure that you have a search for that and get involved, because this is shaping up, like I said, to be an absolutely cracking season. I'm very, very excited. All of us here at Absolute Sim Racing are very, very excited to be a part of it. A little bit more housekeeping as well. So obviously, Daryl Taylor. So hello to you, Daryl. Thank you very much for for tuning in. Also as well to Stuart Matters. So hello to you as well, sir. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Make sure as well, though, you let us know who you're supporting and let us know who you're supporting within the YouTube chat. And also, if you haven't already, we're going to be broadcasting the entire season on... we're going to be broadcasting the entire season on Absolute Racing. So if you want to keep up to date, make sure you do subscribe to the channel so you can keep all up to date with the entire season as it goes. But leading back to the racing, look at Martin Booker. He's now closed a bit of time up. So the top four still very, very close. I've just had a look. Do you know what? You are absolutely right. Now that we've changed the trading pace, now we can actually see Paul Crabb's car a little bit better. That was a very, very good spot, Ed, because Paul Crabb does indeed have a little bit of rear damage. But like I said, it's not phasing him in the slightest.
Yeah, it's only the back of the car where there isn't seeming to be any aerodynamic effect. It can still go through the corners as it did before and also go along the straights as it did before, not encountering any extra drag. I was wondering, though, if there's any effect of the air rushing underneath the car. There is a little bit of an effect for that with these radicals, but it doesn't seem so. It seems to be fine for Paul Crabb, so long may it continue, and hopefully his race carries on without any extra damage as well, though. We are seeing this closest fight, isn't it? Really up here with John Hutchinson and Mark Abitter in the rest, really. The closest fight is for the lead, which is what we love to see.
Absolutely. We're just looking further down the road. We do have as well, this is a battle now coming up. This is Martina Ward, and this is racing against, this is Phil Glover. So this is a bit of a battle to watch out for as well. We'll see how this develops as we go. Unfortunately, we've had a few people, unfortunately, whether we've had a little bit of a mass incident with the iRacing servers, but it seems a lot of people, unfortunately, whether they've jumped in the pits and they've had some connection issues, that could very well be the case here, because we have seen a few of these go through. So I'm not 100% sure what is going on, but hopefully we're going to get some more information on that for you in a few moments. But yeah, we'll see how this Martina Ward just dropping back a little bit from Phil Glover. So yeah, again, we'll just see how this develops as we go. But look at that again. Simon Edwards versus Paul Crabb. Well, if he knows he's got damage, he doesn't care, does he, Ed, to be fair? Because he is absolutely stomping the timing tower. And he's really on the back of Simon. Look how much he's closing up. The gap is now about 0.3 of a second. Looking through as well, the gap between Booker and Hutchinson, that's actually going up a little bit. It's just shy of a second now, so still within the tow window.
I've just seen, John Hutchinson had a massive moment there coming out of the corner onto the bank, and he could lose out of position. Sorry to cut across you there, Dan, but this is
That's why I go for it.
Very spicy up in front. Martin Booker around the outside here. He's being forced the long way around by John Hutchinson. He's putting his car where he needs to do to hold onto the position, but he's going to have the car behind. Is he going to be able to have the inside line to send it then to the outside? But no, the confidence he had, know that there was going to be space left for him is great. And look at that moment there from Martin Booker. He's trying to book it up into the lead of the race, and he almost booked himself a one-way trip to the pits. Seems as though he was able to recover it just about. I want to see another replay of that.
Well, let's have a quick look. Yeah, instant replay. Let's go here. Let's just get through this, because now the top three, the four has now become battle for three. Going into the lead. Look at that. Simon Evans going to try and go around the outside of John Hutchinson. He's made the move. Is he going to make the move going into turn one before it's even done? No, because Hutchinson, there's a bit of contact there. They both go wide. And look at that. Paul Crabb has gone, thank you very much. He's going to get two for the price of one. Up the inside he goes. Oh my goodness. What an opportunistic moment, if any, for Paul Crabb. That was a fantastic move. He just timed that, got it to perfection, and then off he goes. And that was, I mean, it's so close though. Again, unfortunately, server Evers playing a little bit of contact here. Whether it was a still more contact going through, but McCutcheon, he's not giving up at all, is he? And now as they go through, what is it going to be for Paul Crabb? He has to concede the position back to Hutchinson. So yeah, I'll tell you what, while we've got this little bit of a battle and potentially a bit of a breather, let's have a look at how we did have Martin Booker. That's very, very near miss. As we just
exactly so. In fact, yeah, Martin hasn't really dropped too far. He's still within a second of Simon Edwards, but we're going to have a little bit of a look. This is a prior incident, I think. You can see his car going through the kink. Here we go. Here's a replay. You can see, he just loses it on the exit. Too much on the loud pedal. Maybe loses the rear of the car. Also, maybe a bit of aero wash from the car in front. Oh no, it's just over the curbing. The car didn't like it. Rear got very light. He recovered it, exiting though, locking up the brakes, keep the momentum, then unlocking them, trying to snatch it back when it grips up. Excellent car control there from Martin Booker. And now he's going to close into this fight. And he really hasn't lost out much. Driver that could lose out is Paul Crabb, though, as Simon Edwards looks for a position to be gained around the outside as they make their way through the tri-oval across the start-finish line. Yep, Simon Edwards up into second place. It's near enough how they qualified, isn't it? But you can be forgiven for thinking that it was a boring race just by looking at that. But no, this has been one of the most entertaining races I've seen. And this bodes excellently for the full season properly, doesn't it, Dan?
Oh, it does indeed. Absolutely, it does indeed. And plus as well, yeah, we've got just over halfway, I've actually just noticed, 20. So we've got 19 minutes left to go for this particular race. And yeah, like I said, I've just looked, and this is, again, you'll probably agree with me on this, Ed, but as we were going through into turn, as we're going down the main straight, that's where you could see the damage taken into effect. Because Simon Edwards, he did obviously have a draft, he did have a bit of a toe, but even then, it was a very, very easy pass. So that's where Paul Crabb is hurting the most. It's just on, unfortunately, what is about 2/3 of the track. So not ideal, but to be fair, again, Paul Crabb, though, holding his own absolutely fantastically. Martin Booker, as you say, hasn't lost out on too much time, but he's just in a position where the gap is there or thereabouts. I think he's still within the towing window, but look at that as well. We had John Hutchinson having to defend a little bit, taking the defensive line from Simon Edwards. But again, that's costing them a bit of time. All of the battling they're doing is allowing Martin Booker to catch up. And also, look at Andy Hugil. He's only 2.6 seconds back. Keep an eye out for that time just to see how it goes, because that will come down if these guys continue battling.
Yeah, I know. And this is, well, it's very, very exciting just to see exactly how these battles unfold. Meanwhile, though, we come to another battle that's unfolding before our very eyes out on circuit. It's Chris Kane against, well, Phil Glover. Gap around about a second between the pair of them. Not quite battling hammer and tongs, but they're definitely sizing each other up. Maybe thinking about a move later on in the race. There's still, like you said, about 15 or so minutes. Well, not 15 minutes, but there's definitely a little while to go still in the races. Meanwhile, close up in front, Simon Edwards, John McCutcheon, Paul Crabb. They're still very close to one another indeed.
Absolutely, yeah. Look at that spit of flames there as we just got on board with Simon Edwards. Great stuff, absolutely fantastic stuff to see. Andy Hugil is actually in the pits. So that's interesting. Well, look at the spit of flames that Simon Edwards is kicking out from his car. Interestingly, though, with the different lines as well. You see Simon Edwards taking a very, very wide line as he goes through onto the exit down to the main straight. And then we've obviously got McHutchinson taking a very, very tight line, actually. Interesting as well. In the YouTube chat, we did have James... is it James Child or James Child? Child, I do apologise. Name pronunciations are not my specialty. But he said his PC died 10 minutes before racing, so unfortunate for that. But hopefully we'll see you in the season. And I appreciate you saying the stream looks good. We do very much appreciate it. But yeah, Simon Edwards actually got a very, very good run as well, though. Look at that. So John Hutchinson didn't catch up all that much going through. This is where he's going to catch up now. You can now see this is where the gap is starting to close. Look at the relative on the left-hand side as well. You've got, it's coming down to a 10th and a half. I don't think there's going to be a move. And if anything, no, look at that. John Hutchinson, he's sitting back now. He's actually sitting behind. Whether he's trying to size Simon Edwards up potentially, but it's an interesting one, actually. I was expecting a move right up the inside there.
Oh, well, he's going for a move late. But look, there is definitely damage there on the right rear corner of that Radical in second place. John McHutchinson suffering maybe a little bit from damage, but he looks down the inside, doesn't he, into the international horseshoe. No move's being made just yet. Definitely, though, a knock you can see on the car of John McHutchinson. I'm not sure if it's really affecting him too much. Really, when you start to worry is if that rear wing gets damaged, that's how you lose a lot of the downforce and also the rear end stability. Yeah, well, look at this. John McHutchinson, he's under pressure now from Paul Crabb. Look at how close Paul was getting as they made their way into the corner onto the banking. Able to extend it a little bit, though. John McHutchinson, he's always been strong at that area of the circuit. Paul Crabb definitely closing down, though. When he's this close, the slipstream is going to help him, no matter if he's got a damaged car or not. Looks to the outside, though. Doesn't seem to want to go for the move just yet, as we do have the final 15 minutes It's all about getting the best run out of the
that's
corner,
a
having
good
the car nice and settled, and this is beautiful stuff here from Paul Crabb. He's going to be already alongside as they come onto the banking, and look at this, up in front, Simon Edwards, he's giving the toe to Paul Crabb, a bit of maybe gamesmanship to try and ensure that these two are as close as possible to one another as they get into the first corner. Means they're going to be fighting each other as much as possible. All of a sudden, it's going to kick off. Maybe that's going to be what Simon Edwards is hoping for, is that these two scrap as much as they can, and he's trying to facilitate that as much as possible.
He has indeed. Very, very good. Very interesting tactics there. Wow, Paul Crabb going very, very wide. A bit of a mid-corner slide there. Four-wheel drift. Collects it well, but that means he's lost out to a position to Martin Booker, who's now gone up the inside of Paul Crabb.
Whoa.
But Martin Booker goes wide again. Must have locked the brakes up or something to goes off into turn 3. And that's unfortunately dropped him down. 5 seconds is now the gap. It's actually going down more than that. 10 seconds is going to be the gap before he rejoins the circuit. So that's an unfortunate. So again, 4 now become 3. We've just actually going through. There's a bit of a battle here between now Andy Hugill, who had pitted between himself and Martina Ward. So looking through now. So Chris Kane has pitted. Andy Hugill has pitted. And a couple of others have pitted as well, and there is no mandatory pit stop. So unfortunately, they will not receive any additional time coming back. But meanwhile, though, look at this. This is Phil Glover and Chris Kane that are having a bit of a battle going through down the back straight. So is there going to be a potential move? Look at that. Chris Kane, I tell you what, Phil Glover has got a very, very good run. It's going to go side by side. Chris Kane going very, very wide to the outside. Is he going to try and make a cutback move? Is he almost allowing the position going through? No, instead he tries to go round the outside. That's very, very late on the brakes. Does he manage to stop it? Wow, that looked so late on the brakes, but fair play to Chris Kane. That was a very, very... held his line very, very well there. So impressive stuff there from Chris Kane. Goes a tad wide though. That's potentially going to leave the door open for Phil Glover. And it does, no, he doesn't. He sits back in the line. This is good stuff. We've got battling up and down the field. This is exactly what we like to see. Really, really good stuff between everyone here. This is fantastic. And as you say, I know we keep saying it, Ed, but this is putting a very, very good precedent for the season that is starting up next week. I cannot wait.
Yeah, and this, don't forget, this probably isn't going to be the full field. We've got drivers that have said they're not able to attend this meet in the little pre-season meetup. But I've even more entrants, more drivers battling for those positions, which will be very exciting to see how that unfolds. Meanwhile, though, well, Phil Glover, he's been trying to come up with the order as possible, but we're going to have a replay of what happened to Martin Booker. Just too much into the International Horseshoe. Second time that we've seen Martin Booker encounter issues with his car, and that was him into the wall. Big damage. He's been in and out of the pits, though, and such was the margin that the top of 4 have had to the rest of the field, is that he's out in 5th place. Meanwhile, Chris Kane, he's hugging the inside line, trying all he can to try and keep Phil Glover behind. Chris Kane has been the driver that's gained the most positions so far this race since the beginning. At least for me, that's what it's saying. I'm not sure if you're seeing the same or not.
He has indeed.
Yeah,
Look at
he's
that,
gained up 9 positions. Great stuff, and he's going to be able to hold on potentially to that stat as he comes through the first corner and keeps behind Phil Glover. Great defending driving there, hugging the inside line, not giving any chances to Phil, who was looking for a move around the outside. Didn't quite materialise just yet. Only 11 minutes remain. And up in front, well, I can tell you that Paul Crabb is very close now, and there's a move into the first corner. John McHutchinson, look at how late he was onto the brakes, almost getting into the back of our leader. Staying ahead, though, for the moment, John McHutchinson. Squabbling, though, with Paul Crabb, who's going to go for it around the outside. The International Horseshoe, you can't really make a move there. Instead, you can set yourself up for a run out of the corner, coming into the kink again. No moves presenting themselves here for Paul Crabb, but just see the way he's positioning his car, the body language he's showing tells, well, me and you that there's definitely a position to be made here for Paul Crabb. If he can just seize it with both hands and really go at it, this is his best chance. If he can stick close, come out of this corner onto the banking, if he can get a good run out, which I think he has. He's got a very good run indeed. Close behind now, into the slipstream he goes as they make their way towards the bus stop chicane. You can see Paul Crabb getting ever so close as the meters, as the seconds tick by before they come into the chicane. Might not be there for a move just yet. Instead, he's going to set himself up for the best possible run down onto the brakes into fourth gear. Balances the car nicely. Oh, overshoots too much speed on entry. Understeer, yeah, absolute armfuls of it. Meant that he's not got the run at all coming out of the corner. Loses out, unfortunately, on a potential overtaking move this time by. It's not all over yet. 10 minutes remain. Plenty of time for Paul Crabb to go for that position.
Well, I think this was actually one of the things, we were talking about as well, the aero loss. Obviously, I know that Paul Crabb has got a bit of aero damage on the rear, which isn't helping the situation, but the main one, though, is the fact that a little bit of aero loss, and he goes a little bit wide, manages to keep it all in check. I thought the car was going around then, so very well saved by Paul Crabb. Really, really good stuff indeed. But that's now allowed. Look at the John Hutchinson. He's now caught up right on the back of Simon Edwards. We've just had a little bit of, we've had a couple of changes going through a little bit further down the orders. Not entirely sure what was that. Could have been a little bit of a hiccup in the timing tower. But all seems to be okay now. So Paul Crabb has lost out a little bit. But look up the front. Simon Edwards and John Hutchinson. It's very, very close indeed between these two yet again. The amount of yo-yoing that we've had between these guys, it's really, really exciting to see, and again puts a very, very good precedence on what is going to be happening for this season. Although it's extended a little bit, John Hutchinson must have had a very, very poor exit going through on to the start of the banking, and now look at that, that's allowed Paul Crabb. They're going to go side by side already. So it's now a drag race down. They're not in the tow now. Interestingly enough, look at this. So John Hutchinson is now about 1.2 seconds. It's now Paul Crabb away from Simon Edwards. He's probably broken the tow now. I think this could be his chance. As they're going to go side by side, John Hutchinson decides, nope, you're not getting that position. And they both have to concede. But wow, this is so, so close. But look at that, Mitch Hutchinson, whether he's got a slowdown or just had a poor exit, but now roles reversed.
I mean, if he didn't break the toe before, he's definitely broken the toe now as our race leader, Simon Edwards. 2.6 seconds to the good up in front. And now it's really going to be a tussle, I think, for who can take home second place. Paul Crabb and John Hutchinson, they're going to be close coming into the first corner. For the moment, Paul Crabb stays in front. Does he run wide again? Loses the rear of the car again. Potential rear locking there, unsettles the car and sliding through on the inside. John Hutchinson, he says, thank you very much. Not going to take a second look at that position. Going to go for it right away. Seize the opportunity. Great stuff there for the awareness of John Hutchinson to take the position when it was available. And now, well, Paul Crabb, if he can just stay ahead through the first corner, it does seem very good through this middle sector. Even with the damage to his car, he's able to keep going. As well, though, is John Hutchinson. Let's not take away from the fact that he's got a car with a bit of damage, a slightly lopsided rear in this fight for second place. Some excellent stuff, though. Wait and see how close Paul Crabb can get. That'll probably be a move into the first corner. Meanwhile, another move that could be going on into the first corner is Chris Kane on Martina Ward. Chris Kane, like we said, gaining 9 positions, and Martina Ward, I think Martina's losing out here as around the outside goes Chris Kane already before they get up to the first corner. Team didn't want to fight that too much, conceded the position there.
Yeah, indeed. There could be potentially some damage on Martina Ward's car. I'm not entirely sure. Again, doesn't look like anything, but could possibly be gearbox damage, something like that. Bit of engine damage. We'll see. But again, these didn't get involved with some action, some racing action, which is what we like to see. Apologies as well. Just look at the YouTube chat. Another bit more of housekeeping. Senja said, "Do you need a full racing set to compete in this, or can you do it with a controller?" You do need, unfortunately, a full. Well, you don't need a full rig. Logitech. A Driving Force GT, that's what I started with. Anything like that, you can actually get into iRacing now surprisingly cheap. A lot of people say that you have to jump in with a lot of kit. You don't. You can, a Logitech G920 would be absolutely fine to get started within iRacing. So definitely have a search for those. We've got, actually, James Charles.
Sorry, I was going to jump in as well about the accessibility. I'm running just the standard Logitech G29. That and pedals, and that served me right. So
absolutely.
Get involved if you can afford. Yeah, mine, I picked up mine second hand for about 100 quid. All in all, wheel and pedals, very good deal, and sorted me out brilliantly for iRacing. And I've never really felt the need to upgrade. Once I've dialed out all the settings, it's working like a dream. So hopefully, Senjo will see you out on circuit in the future. You all the very best in getting involved in the wonderful world of sim racing and iRacing.
It is indeed. It's good fun though. Like, the amount of people we're getting on board, which is absolutely fantastic. We've also got as well, obviously James Childs, and it is pronounced Child. So thank you very much, James, for clarifying that. And also Chris Bassett saying evening, guys. So evening to yourself, Chris. I hope you are well and you're still in thrall. We've had some very, very good racing. Speaking of more racing as well, look at that. John Hutchinson versus Paul Crabb. This battle is still going on, and I'm sure it is going to be going on up until the flag drops. Less than 5 minutes to go. Nearly 4 minutes to go, though. Look at that. Simon Edwards, though, has checked out. You can just see him at a shot. We're going to go side by side. Crabb versus Hutchinson going into turn 1. Who is it going to be? I think it's going to be... They're so close between the pair of them. I can't quite tell. There's almost two radicals bumped into the one. Bit of lock up there. Contact and a spin for John Hutchinson. Not good at all. Unfortunately, to be fair with you, Matt. And he's just, again, in the haste to try and get the car going again, he's unfortunately had a bit more of a half spin. I think we've got a couple of replays to have a look at there, Ed, don't you think?
Yeah, we might do indeed, as there's fighting potentially brewing on between Martin Booker and Simon Maltby here. So while one battle's ended, another one is certainly beginning here. Look at this, 3 cars all together. Back marker trying to get there. That was Ray Peasley there. We saw in the back of the shot. Martin Booker sweeps his car around the outside of a very striking green number 16 of Simon Maltby. Up into 4th place. Yet again goes Martin Booker. But I think he would be hoping it was a little bit closer to that front fight. Great driver nonetheless, though. And will he be able to, most of all, to pull away from Simon Maltby? If you can get, say, within about 1 second, 1.5 seconds, you can say he's broken the toe. Until that point, Simon's always going to be there in the equation.
Absolutely, this is very, very true. All up until that point, as you say, there's always going to be a potential there for Booker to come back. Just having a look further up, though, what has happened. So it is, what's John Hutchinson done? He's actually gained the position back. I wonder, could this be a possible bit of good sportsmanship? Let's have a look at instant replay here. What is going on? I think, do you know what? Yeah, so I believe that was Paul Crabb actually letting... It's not coming up at all that there was anything there from Paul Crabb that he had an instant or anything, so it could just very well be, again, good sportsmanship from Paul Crabb. Yeah, look at that, he was backing off, I think.
Yeah, he was definitely backing off, and I'm thinking what he was doing as well. Not only was he wanting good sportsmanship, he was also wanting the battle. It was very unfortunate the way that fight ended. I think both John Hutchinson and Paul Crabb were really hoping this would go right down to the final 2 minutes that we come into now. So, Paul Crabb, he's given the position away. Can he take it back, though, in these dying embers of the race? Simon Edwards has definitely checked out up in front, 16 seconds to the good. As you see a replay here of Phil Glover just running a bit wide, locking up to avoid the wall on the exit. Gets it up and running. That's crucial, isn't it? If you can lock the brakes, it keeps the momentum of the car in that sort of direction. Helps you out to sort of recover it. That's why I like the GTEs, because while you don't have any of the ability to save the car on the brakes with ABS and everything, you can still lock them up, and that can help you recover instance instead of having the spins that you get in things like GT3s.
Very true. Yes, very, very true. So, actually, to be fair, these cars, like I said, they can be a bit of a handful. But once you get to know them, it's a very rewarding car to drive. So, very exciting. But as you say, yeah, Crabb versus Hutchinson, it's going to go down to the wire. So, again, great sportsmanship. Again, there's nothing to lose. It's a pre-season test event. Everyone's having here to have a bit of a laugh, have a bit of a shakedown. So, this is good stuff to see. We've also got... On the YouTube chat, we have Senjo saying thanks. No problem at all, Senjo. I hope you take our advice well, and you hope to see you on track soon. We've got Triker, 16WV, saying excellent racing. Good stuff. Glad you're enjoying it. And also Dominic Liang Webb saying, hi all. Internet issues throw me out, unfortunately. Not good at all, so do apologise. Again, I'm sure that's could possibly be iRacing servers, but stream looks great, so thank you very much. And we've got now, again, Crabb versus Hutchinson going through. We've got 2 laps. Actually, no, this will be the last lap, I believe.
One lap. Yep, final lap. Simon Edwards has already crossed the line. We've started now, I believe, the final lap of the race. So, Paul Crabb leads the way in this fight for second place. John Hutchinson, though, what can he manage in reply? Maybe he was preferring to be in second place.
I think he was.
Coming onto this last lap. If he can stay as close as he is through this infield section, coming onto the banking, he's going to be right as rain. You have to see how that battle shakes up. maybe on the run into the bus stop before we, of course, have to go to watch our leader cross the line. Hopefully, once we've watched him cross, we can come back to the little fight here. Simon Edwards, though, what a race from him. He was not quite able to get pole position, lost that by 3/10, but he's been so consistent in the race, kept his nose clean, always been the driver that had his car in the right spots at the right time. And as we come into the final part of the race, there's only a back marker in front for him to worry about. A couple of corners as well. About this being the final corner. And then we will see Simon Edwards take the race victory in this pre-season event for the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series.
Absolutely, 200 yards left to go. And look at that, Simon Edwards takes the pre-season test event win. Good stuff indeed. Unfortunately, we're going to have to straight go back. Now, look at this here. This is going to be the battle to watch out for. This is Hutchinson versus Crab. He's timed it possibly to absolute perfection. Where is he going to go there? He's going to have to keep his foot in. Do you know what? I don't think he's actually making it. Look, he's backed his foot out. He's backed out. He's allowing Paul Crab. So Paul Crab takes P2 with John Hutchinson taking P3.
He wasn't backing out. He was topping out. That
Was he
damage on
topping
that
out?
car has meant that he was absolutely on the top end that
Oh
car
my
could possibly
goodness.
get to. So he was already hampered a bit with the straight line speed. Paul Crab as well with damage. It was basically a battle of who had the least amount of damage. It was just, you could see just the agony from his little sim driver's expression behind the wheel. He was desperately trying to egg it forwards. I think if he could mocap and you'd see him like jigging forwards in the seat, just trying if he could, but there was nothing that John McHutchinson could do. Great driving though as well from Paul Crab, coming back after that little bit of damage. Always an entertaining drive from him. Brilliant evening's racing overall, I think. And of course, drivers having gained positions. Chris Kane did end up taking the honour of having the most improved driver, taking 10 positions since the start of the race. But we have the race results now up on your screens, and Simon Edward takes the victory here this evening ahead of Paul Crab in second place. John McHutchinson completes the podium with Martin Booker behind in fourth. Simon Maltby fifth with Dave Kirkman, Paul Clark, Andy Hugill, Chris Kane, Martina Ward, Phil Glover, Ray Peasley, Dave Dalton, Dominic Langwebb, Dan Webster, Graham Brown, Jamie Bird, Tim Adcock, and then the last couple of drivers I've already realised. James Child not in the race any longer because of internet disconnects, or his PC rather giving up before qualifying, as well. Andrew Stringer unfortunately not taking till the start of the race. That's excellent driving on display. We're going to hope to see, Dan, if any drivers wish to come in for a word after that race.
Well, hopefully we do. We have an open interview waiting room here, so I wonder if we're going to see. We'll leave it a few moments to see if anyone does indeed jump in. But good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And as you say, that's put ourselves in a very, very good stead, I believe, for the race and for the season to come. It's going to be a very, very exciting time. And yes, I am just very excited to get it all underway. I think that's going to be the key thing. There's going to be, bear in mind as well, when you actually look at this type of racing, there's a lot of things going on here. It's a 40-minute sprint. But at that moment in time, you still got to be cautious. You still got to be conscious of deciding what happens, not just at the start, but and as we say, it's not one in the first corner, but it certainly can be lost, and it's very, very true there. But yeah, I think this has actually put an amazing foundation in for the season. I cannot wait. We do have as well, actually, we're going to be able to chat with someone here. We're going to be able to chat with the one and only Chris Kane. So Ed, I will let you bring Chris Kane in. We
can't bring him because we don't have permissions, but what we can do, I guess, is jump ourselves down
Good shout.
Into so let's do that now. So we're here with Chris Kane. We don't have permissions to jump on in, but well, everyone's coming in for the interview waiting now. So let's have a chat, shall we, with the main man himself, Chris, and they can, I guess, be quite happy with how this evening's gone. Obviously, with the iRacing issues outside of our control, but aside, it was a great fight up at the front.
Oh, I had a couple of technical issues at the start, which I wasn't sure if I was actually going to make the race. And then I had to start from the pit lane, and I had to quickly check my fuel. So I ended up about 40 seconds behind the pack when I started. So, it was a good fight to get back up into 9th.
Yeah, definitely. And, well, we've seen your fight up through the field, and you did gain the most amount of positions since the start of the race. What is your hopes, though, for the rest of the season? This is, of course, the little pre-season meeting. It could bode well, though, your ability to carve your way through the field.
You know what? I just want to finish every race.
That's fair enough. That's definitely a worthwhile goal to have, because to finish first you must finish, and finish well you did. Let's talk about, though, this season as a whole. I'm certain that you're really looking forward to getting it underway as soon as possible.
Oh, this season has some particularly tracks of my favourite. I really like Watkins, I like Alton Park, and we've got Bathurst as the third race of the season, so definitely looking forward to that downhill section of Bathurst.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be one to really watch. And Dan, I'm going to hand over to you to see if you've got anything you'd like to ask Chris now.
Well, Chris, I mean, just want to say, obviously, well done again. P9, working your way back at the field, good stuff indeed. And I mean, I'm just excited for the season ahead. It's going to be, it's going to be a really, really good fun laugh. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Looking at the schedule, I mean, there's definitely some great tracks coming up in the season, some really great drivers' tracks, but I'm really interested to have a look at Oran Park in the Radical, because it's traditionally a very short track. And the skit and the Radical, with it being such a quick car, that's definitely going to be an interesting race.
Indeed, that's actually a good point. I didn't realise that. Yeah, because Oran Park, as you say, it's obviously quite a short circuit. So that would be quite a fair bit of elevation change as well. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how the car handles. But at Bathurst, I think that's going to be the one to watch. It's going to be one of my personal favourites, I'm sure, because that's going to be interesting with these cars.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely, good stuff. Well, absolutely. Well, Chris, thank you very much for joining us. I'm sure we'll be speaking in the coming days as well to discuss what goes on for round 1. But anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we?
Everybody that kind of joins and supports the league. I'd just like to say a massive thanks. Without you guys actually driving every week, we wouldn't be here doing this. So, massive thanks to everybody who's part of the league.
Good stuff indeed. Well, Chris, been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to catch up with you soon. And good stuff indeed. Good racing.
Thank you.
Brilliant. Well, Ed, I think we've got a couple more people joining in, I believe. Should we have a chat? Oh, Paul, are you there? Are we there, Paul? Paul Grant?
Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm just...
That's no problem at all. No problem at all. How are you doing? How was your race? How did everything go for you? We had we definitely had a good battling with yourself and Hutchinson. It was battle all the way through the race, wasn't it?
Yes, it was interesting. I probably squeezed John a bit too much going into turn 1 when he lost it to the left, which is why I handed back the place. So.
Right, gotcha. Yeah, because we were wondering what was the case was there, but again, no, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff from yourself, and yeah, something that good to see the sportsmanship as well. I think again that bodes well for the start of the season. What's the game plan going into the season? Is it just we got any particular sort of ideals that we want to set, or is it just going in, have fun, and seeing what happens?
Oh, in it to win it, basically.
Good stuff.
But. It's not going to be easy with the likes of Simon and John and Dan around. It's tough. So, it's great fun. This series. So, we just see how it goes.
Good stuff. Absolutely. No, this is fantastic stuff to see, and yeah, I'm very much looking forward. Both myself and Ed, we're looking forward to the start of the season next week. But before we shoot off, before we move on, anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
In what respect?
Well, just anyone you'd like to give a shout out. People that are watching the stream, potentially. Anyone,
okay.
Teammate?
Dan Webster, he exited early. He's my endurance teammate. So that was a shame, because it would have been good to see him into the end, because he's always very competitive. So shame he exited early.
No, absolutely. Well, it's a bit of a shame. Hopefully it's better next week. But Paul, good to catch up. Look forward to seeing you next week. And take care. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks guys. See you next week.
Cheers, Paul. So, Ed, who should we have a chat? We've got a couple more people in as well. We're just conscious of time, so we're going to have to wrap up in a few moments. But Ed, who should we have a chat with now? We've got a couple of people left.
Well, I think we might only have time for maybe another interview, maybe one final one. And you know what? Shall we have a word with our race winner, Simon Edwards? Simon, are you there?
I am. How are you?
I'm doing very well, Simon. Even better after being treated to an excellent race, of which you were one of the main protagonists, in fact, the main protagonist, right up until the final few moments when you were able to build that gap. Just talk us through what it was like being in a four-way fight for the lead of the race.
It was great. We'd had a little practice race yesterday, so we knew roughly what we could and couldn't do. So it didn't end up a big pile into turn one. So I was just trying to stay in the top two. Unfortunately, somebody kept moving turn two on me, and I kept missing it. So I kept letting people pass. But I just tried to stay patient. A few people got slowdowns, and then. Like you say, it was good battling, and I just fluked that win, I think, because John got some damage after he blinked out for a short while. I think he got damage when he was in the middle of Paul Crabb when he returned.
Yeah, it was a funny old evening for that, but of course that's the reason why we have this little pre-season evening to make sure that any issues get ironed out, and hopefully iRacing servers are a bit more safe and stable in about a week's time when the update is properly rolled out and all the hot fixes have been applied and all that whatnot. You know how it all works. But talk us through as well what your hopes are like coming into the season proper with a race victory. Even if you said you fluked it, that still shows you can win races. Do you reckon you can get some more as the season goes on?
I certainly hope so. The places like Bathurst and things like that, I wouldn't say my specialist tracks, but certainly tracks that I go well at in other machinery. I don't actually run this car in the series. I only run it on this Thursday night. So I'll do a practice on Tuesday or Wednesday night. And then because it's an open setup car, I can make it drive how I want to drive it and not the fixed setup that's in the week. So sometimes I get an advantage, sometimes I come in completely with the wrong setup, but it's good. It's a good thing to challenge myself in that way. But yeah, I'd like to finish high up again in the season. I managed to get second in the last season. I don't know how I did that, but I'll try and keep consistent and try and maybe move one more place up.
We'll see how you go, Simon, but congratulations on your race victory. Before we say goodbye to you, though, is there anybody you would like to shout out before we sign off for the evening?
I'd normally shout out to the broadcaster, but I haven't seen your broadcast yet. But I'll shout out before I've seen it, because you did the winter series with Benny Simonson, and I was in that as well. Until you mentioned me, and then I crashed out.
I do apologise, Simon. Yeah. I will apologise profusely for the entire season.
Yeah, no problem. And Chris Kane for keeping this series going. And it's from Little Acorns. We hope to make this a full grid, of maybe 40 cars plus, hopefully in the end.
Absolutely. Well, we'll certainly hope to see. 40 cars might be a bit too much for me and Dan to try and cover all at once. We might be losing our voices from the excitement and the thrill of it, but you've definitely given us a great season to look forward to. Thank you very much, Simon.
Thank you.
So with that done, we have to conclude the phase of the interviews, and then we'll have to look to be wrapping up the evening and look forward to the next race in a week's time.
We will indeed, yes, absolutely. So, a great race. I'm excited. It's amped me up for the season ahead. I cannot wait. But yeah, as you say, we do have to wrap up. So thank you everyone for tuning in. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you all on the stream, and we look forward to seeing you next week. But as you say, if you haven't already, please make sure you do consider subscribing to the Absolute Sim Racing channel to keep an eye for all that goes on within the series. We've got some other broadcasts that will be coming up as well, so do not miss out on an opportunity to keep up to date with all that is going on. Big thank you as well to the sponsors sponsors of this round as well, because at the end of the day, these are obviously the people that sponsor the league. It's a big help. So we've got as well HBE Automotive and iLounge Racing. So a big thank you to both of those sponsors. But as I said, we do have to wrap up. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Take care, stay safe, and we look forward to seeing you next week for the first round of the UK and Ireland Radical Race Series. Do make sure you don't go anywhere, because it's going to be a good one. Take care. See you soon.